Hello there, Hardcore Yogi here, or just Trent if you know me well. So a little disclaimer, as some of you may or may not know, I have a device in my car where you just basically stick a phone to the windscreen. So once you click recording, in this case, you don't even have to look at the phone. It's just like having a conversation with someone next to you as you drive. So I don't need to operate the phone at all. Okay, so I wanted to make this video to really encapsulate some awesome insights that I had and really powerful experiences I had this morning. And I thought, why not just communicate this while I am in a commute from one place to another? So the experience, it was during a really epic yoga and meditation session, and particularly the meditation aspect was really epic. And it got me, after the experience, and I may describe it soon, but it got me thinking about this topic, which is, as some of you may or may not have heard, meditation is very much associated with strengthening the prefrontal cortex. There have been studies done on this. They study people who go through meditation programs, they study monks and advanced meditators, and they find there is much more activity and more electrical energy in the prefrontal cortex. And this is the part of the brain associated with our higher level thinking. It's associated with self-control, self-regulation, being purposeful, making decisions. It's like the opposite of letting all your emotions take over. It's like being able to be really sort of calculated, cool and calm and conscious with what you're doing. The most human part of the brain, as opposed to more animalistic, reptilian parts of the brain. So yeah, they say meditation very strongly associated with strengthening the prefrontal cortex. And I sort of had a sense of how this can be true. I got an embodied sense in my meditation experience of how this can be true. And I would sort of give it this key phrase or this catchphrase of, you need to lose yourself to find yourself. It's really a bit of a cliche, but it's just a very true sentiment. I see the truth of it. So I'll describe the experience in a way. So in this meditation, I did lose myself, then find myself. And as a result, my prefrontal cortex, in a sense, it went offline to a large extent, then came back online to a large extent, even stronger. So what do I mean here when I say you must lose yourself to find yourself? And how does meditation deliver this cliche? Well, when you are in a moment of meditation, when you get into a deep trance of whatever you are doing, it might not even be a seated meditation, but just say you get really into the zone, into a flow state, into a trance state of whatever activity you really enjoy doing. Whatever activity. In this case for me, it was a seated meditation, which consisted of some breathing as well as some mantra and visualization. So when you get really entranced in what you're doing, you in a sense lose yourself. And I experienced this today. You lose yourself. So you sort of abandon or just forget about all the self-referential functions of our mind. You know, the self-referential part of, I like this or I don't like that, I need to do this, I need to do that, I choose to do this or I don't choose to do that. All the sort of thoughts and decisions that we make which regard ourselves. You know, I want to do this, want to do that, I did this yesterday, I did that tomorrow, I will do that tomorrow. When you're really in flow, in a trance-like zone, you, in a sense, as I said, you relinquish all of the self-referential parts of our mind, and you sort of enter into a much expanded energy. You enter into the pure flow of energy and awareness and intelligence and the patterns of nature within that moment. Whether you're skiing, surfing, meditation, yoga, I don't care. When you get really into that zone, the self of the mind leaves. And yes, as I said, it's like the pure flow of nature's energy, intelligence, its patterns, and pure consciousness and awareness And it's like you really lose the narrative of yourself, who you are. That fades away as you get encapsulated by and engulfed in, enmeshed in just the pure flow of energy and intelligence, and you experience such novel sensations. Yeah, the self goes away, and you experience pure energy, pure intelligence, pure consciousness, just the pure trance of whatever data is coming in. And there's like so much novel data, there's just no room for the self as we used to know it. So that's the experience of losing yourself. And in that experience, the prefrontal cortex, it fades away, it drifts away. And this has been also studied in like flow states. The prefrontal cortex goes offline, so other parts of our brain can process the large amounts of data that happen in our flow state, trance state. So yes, you can lose yourself, and that's what I mean when I say that you can lose yourself. But then, when you come back from the meditation, or back from the flow state and losing yourself, you really find yourself. And this is the sense that I got. It's like I came back into my body, back into the embodied feeling of this self, and I really felt like the energy came into the third eye or into the prefrontal cortex, just that area. And it's like, because I had such a heightened sense of losing myself, no self, dispersed throughout the whole universe, my energy, my awareness dispersed throughout other dimensions, fractally patterns, universe, etc. This was just through a great meditation, by the way, dispersed into just other experiences. So when I came back, it was like a hyper embodied sense of this self, an increased mindfulness, so an increased awareness of each little gaze in space and time. Wait, let me frame it like this. I had an increased self-control, self-awareness, self-direction, decision-making ability. So it's going from hyper no self to hyper self-awareness and self-control. Going from one extreme, losing yourself in flow states, the other extreme, finding yourself come back from meditation. That's what I would describe. And yet, to describe this state of the hyper self-control, self-awareness, it was like I had awareness of every gaze. Every time my gaze would shift slightly, I would be so aware of it. I would just see my gaze moving around. And it was like I could choose with such clarity and such fidelity where I would put my gaze and my focus. And I could choose with such clarity what are the options of what I wish to do right now. Which option will I do? And I do it. Like an increased stability of mind, which then creates increased ability for the mind to make choices on the real micro scale to a more macro scale. More self-control is what I would say. A more controlled focus. So that really basically encapsulates my ideas of you must lose yourself to find yourself. Going from meditation trance state, losing yourself, towards coming back in the body, finding yourself in a more embodied, self-aware, self-directed way. That's my experience. And I guess that can be summed up as one of the benefits of meditation and of flow states in general, which are like an active meditation. Because the point of focus is not just the breath, a visual point, an affirmation like with meditation. In any flow state, the point of focus then becomes the activity that you're doing. But the common denominator of them all, meditation, flow state, it's just about purposefully bringing all your focus, awareness, energy into that one given activity or exercise. Committing to that exercise wholeheartedly, and then letting the experience of that exercise open up to you. That is what meditation is to me. And things like modern entertainments like, Facebook, social media, TV, that does not count. It's not the same. It's almost like a sort of toxic technological hijacking of your senses. It's not the same. So you need to actually like engage sort of proactively in the experience with no external stimuli as much, no external TV, phone, etc. It needs to be you, your body, your mind, doing that thing. That is what opens up the gates to really losing yourself, then finding yourself in an energetically, holistically healthy way. Well, that sums up all I wanted to speak about on that. If I seem extremely high energy or really high energy right now, it's just I've been fasting all day so far, and just yoga and meditation really clears out the energy. But especially without fasting, if I had eaten a breakfast, I would be a bit more sort of normal. But when you combine those things with fasting, that's what happens. Signing out, much love, much peace. Can't wait to share my new projects with you. Namaste.